I'm not going to sit here and say I have a perfect diet. I like to sit at home in the evening and eat a whole bar of chocolate or cheesecake and stuff. Like, I eat a lot of the junk and stuff like that. I don't tend to have fast foods. Generally, home meals. We just try to cook good home meals that have a bit of everything. So there's always some meat, veg, carb. Like, there's the balanced mixes. Breakfast, I'm a sucker for a bowl of Cheerios or Wheatos or Cocoa Pops.
Can't beat the Cheerios.
Yeah, like it's just what I'll do. Lunches, once upon a time it'd just be a sandwich all the time, but I try to vary that a bit more because I feel like that's the area I lack in a lot and I could change. So there's a lot of like eggs and stuff like that these days.
So just going higher protein.
Yeah, and then in recent years I've been taking creatine and protein shakes a lot more.
So we get a lot of questions about this, and actually a lot of people also complaining about the fact that they feel like they get loads of weight gain on creatine as well.
Well, I think creatine, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, I think it helps you maintain like water. It makes you maintain a higher water level in your body, I think.
Yeah, it's like a water retention element to it. But have you
and I think
not
for a lot
found
of people that is a thing. I haven't. I have gotten a bit heavier recently. That could be because I've started doing this a bit more regularly. It could also be because we've been in lockdown and in the house and moving less. So it's hard for me to say, but my weight change isn't dramatic enough for me to be bothered. I'm not one to be too bothered by my weight. Like, I've actually done some of my hardest things when I've been at my heaviest, which sounds wrong. Just is. Hardest climb I've ever done is a board climb at Social in Leicester, and I did that when I was at the heaviest weight I've ever been.
Yeah. I mean, I think there's culturally been too much of an emphasis on being absolutely skeleton light, and I don't think this is the right. I mean, we both know that that's not the right way forward for people long term.
I think that you gotta have a healthy weight, I think, and I'm just not in. I like food too much to want to try and lose weight for performance. And I just think, like, why not just get stronger? For me anyway, like, everyone's different with weight. It's so hard. I struggle to change my weight. Like, I can't lose weight. It's hard for me to gain weight. It just always stays the same, really. It doesn't change much. Well,
talking of it being, doing your hardest stuff when you were the heaviest, that might actually lead us quite nicely onto the projecting element of what we wanted to chat about today. And you're really well known, especially in the UK, for having had some really hard projects that you know a lot about those areas, you know a lot about the moves, and I think that's really interesting to go into that process, because you know what it looks like to go from trying something with almost no knowledge all the way to the point where you have fine-tuned to the absolute, finest possible detail. So to kind of start off, what do you think for anyone out here watching, and they may well be trying their project, which is, they're going to spend 10 sessions on it, 40 sessions. What do you think are the key things that other people should look out for in terms of projecting? Like, what are the things that you feel like have made the biggest difference?
Biggest difference for me, first one is consistency. I started projecting, I'm going to use air quotes for projecting. My first ever project was Ben's roof at the Tour, and I started trying that way before I was ready to do it.
This is like a V10 on limestone.
Yeah. I started trying it way before I was ready, but I did the moves and I knew I could do it. My issue with that, I didn't try it frequently enough, and I wasn't quite at the right level to string it all together at first.
So you're kind of losing knowledge.
Yeah, so each time I would go, I would then have to try and remember something.
Yeah, okay, so consistency.
Consistency really was important. A big one there.
Yeah.
That trend continued onto my next project, which was Keen Roof at the Tour. And again, basically the exact same concept with both of them. I tried them before I was ready, but I did the moves and I knew I could do it. So I'd just go and try it when I could. But back then I wasn't driving, I couldn't go enough, and I didn't go enough. So I had to relearn all the time, and that was a nightmare.
Yeah.
So like consistency of trying it is really important. Like you don't want to have too big gaps between them. And the next step is probably like, if this is like your absolute top end limit, you can get anal about every detail and figure out fine details. What day is the best day to try it? What weather is the best weather? Like what time of day are you in the best shape to go and do it? What's the best food? What's your favorite food? What makes you feel strongest and fittest to eat? Like those sorts of things. And then it comes to brushing. Like there's over brushing can happen on a lot of things, but like, is it clean? Like, is it actually clean and enough for you to try? Are you covering it in chalk from your hands every go and then just not doing anything and trying it again? Can you make it a little bit cleaner, like within reason? And then chalk as well, like how much chalk? Are you just coating your hands in chalk or just go?
Yeah.
Like there's literally, you could pick any little detail and point it out.
What do you think about shoe choice?
Yeah, shoe choice is always key. Like for me, I have like a series of shoes from Evolve that I'll like rotate myself through. And when I'm on a project, it's like, right, I'll try this one and I'll have a whole session. I'll dedicate sessions to trying it, but be strict with my shoe choice to like find out. And then another session, different shoe, another session, different shoe. Sometimes I'll have a session where I'll try one move and I'll try each shoe for that move and I'll be like, this one works
I think
best.
people will be probably quite surprised listening to this. Like I've done exactly the same. I put good amounts of time into trying a very specific shoe.
Yeah.
But you've got to give it enough time to actually find out if it really does or doesn't work.
Yeah, exactly.
Then move on and keep rotating through.
Like, I guess the Megos approach is like, just be stronger, doesn't matter. We're not all that blessed. So for me, I need to find the fine details. So for like my current project at Forest Rock is a low start to an 8B plus I put up last year. It's super basic, just powerful slapping on tiny crimps, doing massive low percentage moves. It's just hard and painful. The low start adds like 2 moves 7C plus into it. And it's like made it enough that it's like so unbelievably limit for me that like there is no room for error. I have no room for error. Every hold has to be caught perfectly. Every foot placement needs to be perfect. I need to like pull the right amount through the moves. It's like, it's an autonomous motion when I'm on the wall. The only reason I fall now is because I've either done something wrong or I was not quite at the level to do it. So I've had one go where I've climbed all the way through and I've fallen off the last hold, which was absolutely heartbreaking. And since then, like the weather has gotten too bad. So I'm pretty much unable to try it anymore. So I'm probably gonna have to wait until spring unless I get really lucky. It's like I said, it's not far from my house, so I can keep checking regularly.
Yeah. You and I were actually talking about this earlier, saying that this could be quite a good thing for you, that you have to have quite a long break from projects, because I've definitely seen this with people where put a big amount of effort into something and you either get very close or you're just not quite there.
It's so hard.
And then you can take 3-6 months away from it and then suddenly just something has changed in the body and you come back to it again. First few sessions learning it again, hard, but then you have these massive breakthroughs. Yeah. It's amazing how that happens.
Projecting is, I think, underappreciated in a way. There is but at the same time, there's a difference between someone who can project something for ages and do it and then do things quick, I think. So there is a mental resilience that is so hard to have to maintain projecting. And to be honest, I'm actually glad that the weather and the conditions have gotten bad for my project right now, because I was getting drained. I was tired of being in the same place, doing the same moves, the same routine. It was so mentally draining, and knowing I was this close, I'm that close to doing it, but it just didn't quite happen. And it's like, I really want this to be done. I want it to be done. I want to do it. But I want to be happy and enjoy the moment of doing it.
Yeah, yeah.
And it was getting to that point where it's like, oh, I don't want to go there. And if I do, I want to do it. But when you're that much at your limit, like, you don't know if you're going to do it, I think.
Well, that's the interesting part with projects and pushing it, because it's not just about, you know, the physical limits, it's about your motivational limits.
I read some of the jokes, the comments online about this one, because when the high start that I did originally, I called it limit breaker, and some people thought it was like some sort of a joke, and it's like, yeah, maybe it's kind of cheesy, but like for me, I saw it as this thing that looks impossible. I didn't believe it was possible. It seemed crazy, like there's no way that those holds can be climbed up. And I was like, well, let's just try. And after a long time, eventually it became possible, and then I did it, and it's like, phew, how about that? That's insane. And it's the same process with this low start now, is like, this is a thing that I once deemed impossible, and I'm adding something really hard onto it already. Like, it's a much better, fuller climb, this low start. It's a more logical start position. It's a bit like, it makes it more desirable in my eyes for me to want to do it for a start, but it's just, you have to kind of accept, I think, with projecting, is like, the whole idea of it is stepping into the unknown. Like, you're not just going to project something and do it, unfortunately. Like, there's loads of things people try and put time into and they just don't do. And that's really frustrating. There was something I was thinking of recently. Serenity, Impossible Roof. It's an 8B. I don't think I'll ever do it. I hate saying that because I feel like it's really defeatist and giving up, but I've had a lot of time trying that thing. I'm not sure I can do it. I've stacked like 5 pads on top of each other and I've managed to pull off the floor. I don't know what else I can do. And I don't know if I could actually face the mental challenge of going to that all the time and working and working and working it. And one day I might do it, maybe.
Well, that's the big thing about, you know, really hard projects, is that you need them to be very, very motivating, and you need to stay in the process. You've got to enjoy it, and you've got to get a lot out of it.
Most projects, like, if you're projecting something, the odds are you found a climb that suits you and you flipping love it. You're not projecting something you don't like, because you won't put in the effort, I don't think. Okay, last bit. I'm going to ask you is abroad. Abroad. You have climbed some really hard stuff in the UK. You've got the numbers on your side, you've got the experience on your side, you've got the foundation, that pyramid. Is there anything that you really fancy abroad? I would like to climb an 8C. I think this project at Forest Rock could be 8C. But I would like to do an established 8C, and I see lots of very good ones abroad. Switzerland or America are the sort of notable ones for me. Maybe Rocklands one day, not that I've ever been yet. Any lines that really catch you? It's really hard to say what lines. I feel like I have not done enough in Fontainebleau yet. I've actually done very little. I only did my first 8 in Font last year. Just for lack of not going for years, I think. I would really like to do Gecko Assis there, which is an 8B+. That I would love to try that. Harder things, 8Cs, I'm really not too sure. There's so much, and it's hard to pinpoint something that really looks like the right one for me, but I think that I've not tried any. I'll tell you, the only 8C I have actually tried, in fact, it's an 8C+ now, is Hypnotized Minds in the Rocky Mountains. I tried that 5 years ago. Definitely not good enough to do it, but it's like, this is flipping Hypnotized Minds. I'm gonna try it. Don't think I did a single move. That's the only thing I've tried at that sort of level. Like, I need to try more, I guess. There's lots out there that look fantastic. I don't remember the grades of some of them. There's one in Rocklands called like Black Eagle or something. I've only seen videos of. That looks like something I'd enjoy. It'd be cool to try that one day. I was hoping to go to Cresciano this year to try some 8Cs. I was looking at the idea of maybe trying Dreamtime as one, but I've never tried it, so I still don't know like how it would be for me. It looks cool, looks pretty fun. I don't know. And then countless things in Switzerland and America. It's so hard to say. There's a wealth of phenomenal climbing, and there's things that you don't hear of much, or that haven't had as many repeats or ascents, or maybe that hasn't even climbed yet.
Well, at least you've got your Forest Rock.
At least I have my Forest Rock project. And when that's done, there are more projects. There's always another project at Forest Rock.
Yeah.
I will have a lifetime of climbing to do there.
Yeah. Well, go and have a look at Orrin's Instagram. And I think there's some YouTube stuff on there as well, isn't there?
I've done a few of my own sort of put together videos, and then we've had a few with like one with the Bowback guys, and one with Andrew McFarlane more recently.
Yeah. It's a really cool place. I've been down there a few times, and it's really unique. It doesn't look massive, and it doesn't look, mega exciting as soon as you kind of see it, but it's a very unique style of climbing, some really hard stuff, good spread of grades.
We call it Leicestershire's answer to Paracellar's Cave.
Yeah.
That's the best way I can think to describe it.
But it's cool. I like it.
You'll look on the UKC logbooks and be like, there's only hard stuff there. It's like, there's actually a lot of like good stuff in the sevens worth trying. The hard stuff is linking between them all.
Yeah. Well, thanks very much for
my pleasure. Thanks
joining
for
us
having
on the Ask Lattice sofa, and it's been really cool to talk to you about projects and methods of doing that, indoors, outdoors, competitions, and everything. So, I hope you've all enjoyed that, listening to Orrin and his experience. And don't forget, if you want to keep in touch with more of this, get notifications for it. You want to subscribe to the channel and click the notification bell as well. And we will see you on here again very soon.